Hi everyone. I decided we are going to start.
Yeah.
Is that okay for everyone? Yeah? Nice. Today I'm going to speak to you about API platform. So first thing, who is not a developer in this room? Okay, nice. Okay, 2 persons. Who doesn't know what Sylius is? Okay, fine. And who doesn't know what API platform is? Oh, nice. So, for starters, I'm Antoine Bluchet, aka soyuka online. I'm the API platform release manager, so this means that I'm merging your pull requests, I'm reading the bugs, I'm answering to your questions online, etc., etc. And when things break, I'm usually the one to be accused about, okay? I'm CTO at Les-Tilleuls. Who knows Les-Tilleuls? So it's really hard to pronounce in English. Oh, everyone knows this. Okay, go next. No. So just a few words about that because they are mainly contributing financially to the project. They are the only company that is financing API platform. So a big shout out to them. And we actually do lots of things around the PHP ecosystem, which is Sylius, Symfony, API platform, FrankenPHP, etc. We do coaching, we do workshops, we can also come into your staff and just help gather around architectures and solve problems. So don't hesitate to reach to us if you have any kind of need. I'm going to tell you quite some stories today, and the first one is how I actually came to know about Sylius. And this is thanks to Lukasz, who is here today. So I met him, I think it was in Lille for a PHP-driven event, and yeah, we had some drinks, and he presented to me this project he was working on, which was an open source e-commerce solution based on Symfony. And so actually this solution is today compatible with API platform, and we are going to see a bit more about how it's compatible. And how I came to write this talk is actually I was invited by Loïc, who is from Emagma. He is also here. He talked this morning. And he invited me to this Sylius party in Toulouse. Toulouse is a great city in France. It's really beautiful. And he called me and he was like, can you come and talk at my Sylius party? And I was like, yeah, I can, but I never used Sylius in my life. So what am I going to talk about? And he said, this is perfect. Just install Sylius and give us a feedback of your experience. And actually, I went a bit further into that because I know that API platform is embedded into Sylius. And because I am one of the main API platform contributors, I thought, okay, let's see how it's plugged in, what can we do, can we change in this API. And we are going to go a little bit further. We are going to talk about JSON-LD. I'm going to showcase how FrankenPHP can be used with these tools. And I will show you some production numbers of how it runs on the web. Next, I will speak a little bit about new Symfony components, mainly the JSON streamer component, which is really something that can boost the performances of really many API endpoints that are used a lot and that take a lot of time to answer. So the first thing we need to talk about, and I'm really sorry, it's a kind of academic, is JSON-LD. Who knows about JSON-LD here? Nice. So how are you using JSON-LD? One of the main use cases of JSON-LD, so I'm not going to go too deep into the subject, but you need to know that it's all about RDF, which is Resource Description Framework, which is globally how the web is built. So, for example, if you go on Wikipedia, you know that the Mona Lisa was created by Leonardo da Vinci, and you're using links to go through these relations between a subject, a predicate, and an object. And actually, this format, JSON-LD, is just a representation of this resource description framework. It's a format that we can use just as Turtle or as many other formats. And what's really nice, it has become the go-to format for rich results on the web. So if you go on Google, or let's say you are using Gmail and you just book a plane, then in your Gmail interface, you can see that your plane a flight from Paris and goes to Monaco at that time, at that airport, etc. And these are actually just that inside your email, the airport company embedded a JSON in this JSON-LD format, explaining to the machine how it works. And I think that this format will be used a lot by LLMs and AIs because it's quite easy for a machine to understand how links are made. We'll come back to that later. So this is great because API platform is actually centered on this format and on representing your data using JSON-LD. So I installed a Sylius for the first time. Then I took a look at the API and I thought, okay, I'm going to enable rich results with this API I'm using on my product web page. To do so, all you have to do is actually enable your API on Sylius. So it's not true by default, this option. You need to enable the Sylius API. And what it does, it takes all the Sylius resources that are entities plugged on a database, and it activates the API platform resources on them. That's great. And the second thing I did is I wanted to check the schema.org compliance. Schema.org is very, very important because it is where Google, Amazon, Bing, etc. are taking a look to know what they are talking about. So for example, let's take a recipe. Oh no, it's a product, sorry. A product, if you want to show to Google the rating of your product, if it has a good note or bad notes, actually you cannot just use the property you want. You need to comply with JSON schema. So I took a JSON-LD from the API that was plugged on Sylius. I put it into this website, searchgoogle.com test rich results, and I saw that the page was not valid. I'm sorry, it's in French, but basically it said, yeah, I don't recognize the property as I should because they are not typed as they should be in the schema.org website. So we need to fix a few things. First thing, we need to put the schema.org product schema on our resource. So this is what we call the type of the resource on the API platform. Then we need to add this aggregate rating property, as the current Sylius product is using a field named average rating, but it's not aggregate rating, so Google doesn't read that and doesn't understand that. So we need to change this property name, and we need to create a new aggregate rating resource because actually a rating in the schema.org vocabulary is a combination of multiple fields. And to do so, we need to extend this Sylius resource. So it's been a while, I don't know how long I know Lukasz, and he was always telling me, yeah, we need a way to extend our resources because the product is defined into the vendors of your Sylius project. So you don't have access to the PHP class by hand. And if you want to change something on it, either you copy-paste the class, this works, but it's not really good because you don't get the updates, etc. Or they had IDs with YAML that were overriding properties and stuff. But none of these solutions really were really satisfying. And another way we could do this is add custom serialization groups, create a custom normalizer in Symfony, but this is quite hard to do, especially for experienced developers. It's boring, it's complicated, and you actually don't want to do this, okay? So let me introduce to you what we call resource mutators. I'm not really fond of the name, but yeah, it's weird. We mutate an immutable resource, so it's weird. This was contributed by Loïc Frémont, which is yeah, on the other room, speaking right now. And actually what it does is it allows you to add this as resource mutator. There is also an as operation mutator. And thanks to that, you can change whatever you want on a specific class or a specific operation in your API. So even though the API is defined by your vendors, you can still change stuff. And so this is quite useful for the Sylius community, I think, and I did exactly that. So many thanks to Loïc for creating this, and yeah, that's it. Now, next thing, we want to add some properties. So what I did and what is usually done by many Sylius developers is just to extend the base product class and then to add your own properties. So this is what I did here. And you see that I added a bunch of attributes to really define my product just like the schema.org expects. Here, for example, we have the new property aggregate rating. And you see that on the average rating, I added this in your flag, which means that the API will not show this field anymore. And instead, it will use the get aggregate rating function and create this object that is really schema.org specific with an average rating and the number of reviews. Thanks to that, we finally have a beautiful JSON-LD schema.org compliant file. And this is read by Google to gather if a name is a name or a description is a description, etc. So actually you could name aggregate rating something else if you type it like schema.org/aggregate rating after. You're sleeping? No? Okay, nice. I continue then. This is now the face of my new product resource, which is quite different, but still plugged on the same database, right? So you get a few properties and now our correct aggregate rating. Yeah, I wanted to show this also to you, but basically we created a new DTO just to show this rating value and rating count. And because API platform quite like to work on resources, but we don't want to expose this alone, we set an API resource with no operation on it. This also has a context, and again, each of the properties is mapped to the correct schema.org. Now, we need to customize the product page. And if you've done a little bit of Sylius, you know that it's quite surprisingly easy to do. I never used Sylius before that. I hate Twig because I am not familiar with how I write it. I prefer to do HTML and PHP the old way in the same page, but don't do this. And yeah, I discovered the hooks and it was quite easy to set up. So great work from Sylius for that. And what we basically do, we find where we need to hook some data and then we can plug in a template. And so now big warning here. What I did here is absolutely not optimized, but it's for the conference or it won't be as fun. So what I do is I actually fetch the JSON-LD from my own API. Normally you would just get the JSON result and put it in your page, right? So I do another HTTP call inside the HTTP call, just for fun. But the result is the same. You get this fetch JSON LD, which is actually, what I just said. So I create another request. Don't do this. Prefer to fetch the product, use the Symfony serializer, and get your JSON directly, obviously. Once we have that, on our product page, we have this hook with twig that's plugged in somewhere in the page. And you can see that it's quite small, but trust me on this, I finally have my script application ld.json. And thanks to that, Google is able to check my product page and actually know that it has good marks or bad marks and how many times it got reviewed, etc. Now, I did another HTTP call on purpose, and I'm going to tell you a bit more about PHP performances in a more general way, okay? I think you've heard right now that FrankenPHP is officially supported by the PHP Foundation. This is quite great because it means that the PHP core team will maintain also FrankenPHP. And this also means that the FrankenPHP contributors are now part of the PHP Foundation. So it's a more global approach, which is quite great for the project. And since FrankenPHP came out, who is using FrankenPHP here? Nice, thanks. I hope you like it. I do like it. But when I created this conference, there were a few benchmarks, and especially one done by Sylius that shows how that they lowered the number of instances from 7 to 1 with the same code. And they actually materialized a little bit the costs that you can win thanks to that. But when I see a benchmark like this, I'm always taking some steps back, and I want to know exactly how they measure things because I don't trust it. So another benchmark was done by Laravel also that shows also great numbers. I won't get too much into the details. What bothers me here is that it's done on a MacBook, which is a personal computer. It's not on a server. So what I decided is to do my own benchmarks, right? And the first thing to do is, for me, a benchmark is better if you deploy it and you really create a production-like application that you put on servers and then you benchmark it. And to do so, I wanted to show you a small Docker file. So this is a production-ready Docker file that works with Sylius. And this is exactly what I used in my benchmark that I will show you. What is really great about FrankenPHP and Docker configuration like this is that you don't need any file like the Nginx configuration or whatever. All you need are environment variables. So you see here I'm saying FrankenPHP config worker, and I set the path to the worker, and I'm basically done. With the newest versions of Symfony, you don't need to specify the runtime anymore. It will be detected automatically. So some pro tips about Sylius. Sylius, the standard edition, logs everything on files. But when you work inside containers, the best is to log on stdr. So stdr is really where all your logs are aggregated, and because Caddy uses JSON, it's the best of both worlds. You put a Grafana on top of that, and you're done set up your production configuration. So it's really cloud ready with this configuration. You have a bunch of great features with FrankenPHP. You can use a worker mode in development, but then it's like when you work with a Node.js or whatever, you need to restart the server because it will keep a bunch of things in memory. So you can activate this watch mode, which will restart the server when a change occurs. So, do you want to see the results of my benchmarks? Yes? Okay, let's see that. So let me explain a little bit what I did here. I decided to take 2 scalable instances that are really small. I set up a Sylius standard edition with the fixtures basically loaded, and I started a really tremendous work to find the sweet spot. So you need to know that when you put your PHP FPM with Nginx website into production, it will have this kind of automatic mode to find out a good amount of workers to start. Because I don't know if you know about this, but when you run PHP FPM, you don't have only one instance of PHP running, but usually 10 or 15. And you should at best find the number yourself and not let the automatic mode work, because the sweet spot of number of workers is usually way more than the automatic mode. So I took a few days to find out the best amount of workers for Nginx and PHP FPM, and the best number of workers for FrankenPHP. And when I had this, so if I increase this number, the performances drop. So I know I have a sweet spot. After having this sweet spot, I ran my benchmarks with WR key, but basically it's just spamming the server. What I discovered is not surprising. It's just that Nginx and FrankenPHP in non-worker mode are exactly the same. So these are the 2 left curves. And the green one, so the highest one, is when we activate the worker mode of FrankenPHP. And now this is also not surprising. It's about 2.3 times faster, just because we keep the container of Symfony in memory, so we have lots of work less to do for each request. And for me, this is perfectly what we expected from FrankenPHP. So in normal mode, so if you don't use the worker, it's the same as using Nginx. And if you use the worker mode, obviously you have better performances. The latency, same thing. We see the same results. Basically, Nginx and FrankenPHP have the same latency, but if you use the worker mode, you drop a lot. A few other features about FrankenPHP. So you have Mercure that's embedded. So if you don't know about Mercure, come to see us at our booth. I will explain that to you. We can create standalone PHP application. We can put your Sylius application in a package and make it download by your users. We have early hints. We have Go PHP extensions. That's quite great, and lots of stuff. So I'm done with FrankenPHP, but I have many things left to say. Stay with me. I want to talk about this new component that is called JSON streamer component. So if you remind, I was using another HTTP call inside my HTTP call, which is basically quite slow. So this component came out last year, about something like that. And the idea is that for huge collections, we will not keep everything in memory and then send it to the client, but rather send small bits to small bits and stream the JSON to the clients. And I activated this on the Sylius API I was working with, just for fun and to see if the performances are better or worse. And the results were quite surprising. So here you have really the FrankenPHP worker mode, production mode with everything you can put as optimization. And then we run a standard serialize on the JSON. And on the right side, we run this streaming mode. And yeah, so the higher is better. It's the speed in megabytes of the clients receiving data. So quite good performances. And this is also really important because the TTFB is time to first byte. So when you're a client, you're using a browser, then there is this time we feel that it's faster because we have things that appear earlier than when we gather everything in memory and send everything. For example, you could have a list of products and right from the start of the request, get the total items and show, okay, there are 30 products in my page. And then when each product arrives, you could put it on the list and make the user have a better sensation over your website. Yeah, I will skip that. So basically, the JSON streamer component is compatible with the new version of API Platform 4.2. And Sylius follows our updates, so it's already available for every Sylius users in this actual version of Sylius today. To enable that, you just need to put JSON stream through using one of the mutator I showed earlier. There is a caveat though with this JSON streamer is that you need to have public properties on your PHP classes. You can't use getters and setters like we're used to do with Doctrine. And this may be quite painful, except that inside API Platform we have this option, it's called state options. You can map the shape of your resource and then you plug in the data you want. And here we have this product entity that comes from Sylius, and we can use it as data in our resource with public properties. And this way you can make the JSON streamer work and have quite amazing performances. For this to work, I introduced a new Symfony component almost at the same time as the JSON streamer component, which is called the object mapper. So the object mapper basically takes two objects and map the data for you automatically, or you can configure how it's mapped. A small example here, if I want to work on my aggregate rating from before, I can just put a transformation inside an attribute like this, and I don't have to add a new service that does the mapping or put my transformation data inside my entity, etc., etc. So this was about it for Sylius being on steroid, or was it? I'm working for, I don't know, a few days on MCP capabilities on API Platform. So I don't know if you were to the talk before me, but basically he talked about agents, about model context protocol, etc. And what would be great is that if we could plug in any LLM on our APIs using a simple Boolean, right? So I will show you a small demonstration. Basically what I did, so I have Sylius with API Platform using FrankenPHP, production mode, JSON stream, blah, 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 everything behind this in my computer, right? And now I activated, I maybe show you the configuration. Let me find that real quick. So many stuff open. Here it is. Yes. So what I did is my resource mutator, like I showed earlier, and you see I added this with MCP true. And thanks to my new pull request, this allows any LLM agent to actually connect to your existing Sylius and existing API. Let's see. I don't have the screen here. Get me a list of available products in my shop. I should have plugged in something so that I can talk to the machine. It may not work, right? Because it's a demo, and we all know the demo effect. It's not working. It was working just before the conference, I promise. Okay, wait a second. I'm lost. Okay, let's start again. you like my screen? So, it's quite painful to not see the screen back there. Yes. What happened? Do I have internet? Yes. Let's start again. So, servers. First, can we connect to Sylius? Yes. Then playground. Get me list of products. Shop.
Please.
Sorry?
The word please.
No. You don't need that. You can actually make mistakes when you write to them. They don't really care. Oh, yeah, nice. There we go. Nice. Now, can you or make a new T-shirt that is clone of Galactic Festival Ruffle Wrap named API platform of some T-shirt. Yeah, I'm using non-paid Gemini, so it's quite slow with my phone on 4G. Machines are slow. Oh, I got an error. Yeah, model is overloaded, but trust me, I did this earlier and it was working. Let's wait a little bit more, maybe it will manage to do it. Stop using Gemini, please, in this room. Leave me alone with my model. So yeah, basically, I hope that this functionality will be available in February inside API platform. And you see that all I did is activate some functionality and I got some LLM server working. Obviously, if I put money into a real model, it will go way faster than this. So we'll let this work, go back to the conference. And yeah, thank you for listening to me. These are my social networks, and you can come to see me at the booth if you want to chat about all I talked about. Thank you. Oh, there are questions. I forgot about questions. Wait, I will give you a mic.
Thank you very much. I have a question regarding running Sylius with FrankenPHP in worker mode in production. Do you have any instances that you've managing or that you have managed in the past and you can share some insights with us? I'm mostly interested in if you managed to find any memory leaks in worker mode.
As I said, I installed Sylius to create this conference, so I never tried it in production, so I cannot answer to you because I don't know.
Actually, when I said you, I meant you as a company. Plural you.
Absolutely no idea. But you can come and see us. We have some colleagues that are working on Sylius application. Maybe they can answer to you.
Yeah, sure. And the last one, you were mentioning some Go PHP extensions in your presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you can achieve AMQP 1.0 compatibility in PHP with that, because to my knowledge, there's no support for AMQP 1.0.
Yeah, okay. So if you take a look at our recent work, you can find out that we did a bunch of extensions. There is one for WebSockets. We did one for gRPC. We did one for another protocol that I forgot. So yes, it's quite easy to do. You need to follow our documentation, or we can do it for you if you ask us. But basically, we can create any Go extension using any Go software. So I assume the MQP protocol exists as a Go software, and then we can put this into PHP without any issue.
So you're making it easier to have in PHP the goodies from the Go.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly.
Thank you.
Are there other questions?
Language. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm writing to my model. Another question?
I have a question about API platform. I have saw the as resource mutator, and I am not able to find it in a source code of API platform. So in which version I can use the as resource mutator?
It's version 4.2, but since it got merged, I'm asking Loic to do the documentation, and he didn't do it yet.
Okay.
But yeah, in 4.2, you should find it.
Right. So some latest stable version.
Yeah, the latest stable version, exactly.
Thank you. Because I was not able to find it also on a GitHub platform core, so maybe.
Yeah, can you give him the mic?
Sure.
Thank you. Is there any drawbacks to using worker mode? Like, do you have things to think about when you implement worker mode, or is it just a switch?
No, I think you... yes, you put worker mode, and then you will probably have memory issues if the code has memory leaks, because basically in the beginning we didn't care about memory in PHP because it's fire and forget. But now, because you have this worker running, then you probably need to monitor your application and check the memory to be sure that it's not overloading and exploding. But apart from that, it's the same thing. I'm looking at what the model did. Did you follow? No? I think it got a mistake. It got an error. And he said, the product API platform awesome t-shirt has been created, but its description and short description fields are currently empty. So it managed to create a product. So I think and if you have got to see the talk from before, you would, he spoke about errors when handling models. And we see that API platform does things quite well or Sylius also does things quite well, because we had an error that we could not create a product with these images we were sending because they were in a bad format. And actually got to understand that and find another way to create the product. So yeah, quite nice with just a Boolean to have this result, in my opinion. I think we're done here. Thanks, everyone.